Hi there everybody, this is David, and I've just got to ask you, do you like Illusion of Gaia? Cause I do! This is a classic action RPG released back on the SNES that I played as a kid, and to this day, it's still one of my favorite games. And in today's sponsored video, I do want to tell you all about a spiritual successor to it called Hyke Northern Lights, releasing on the Nintendo Switch, the PS5, and Steam. And also, if at any time during this video you would like to wishlist it and download it for yourself, please just click on the links below. And today, I do want to kind of do like a deep dive review of it, and I definitely do think that's worth a sub as you come and you join my party and you level on up with me. With your sub, your like, and your brand new hype, it helps me out a ton. So now, let's go ahead and dive right on in to this pretty amazing little throwback. Seriously, y'all, if you grew up on games like Illusion of Gaia, Terra Enigma, or even Secret of Mana, you owe it to yourself to check this out, because this one here hit me with a wave of nostalgia. There was nothing on the surface that told me that like a witch's road trip would remind me of that classic, but the second that I actually played the game, I couldn't help but notice all the references. This really does carry the same spirit as one of the most beloved action RPGs of the Super Nintendo era. A journey across a scarred modern world, myth bleeding into reality, combat that rewards skill instead of grinding, and a story that asks you to reflect on the nature of humanity as you traverse the globe. It's like somebody took Quintet's design philosophy out of a time capsule and then gave it like a fresh coat of paint. The story begins with Aurora, the Witch of Ruin, who leads the Midnight Suns. Right away, things are tense. The city is under siege. Aurora is confronting the Wise Man, and in a shocking twist, she is betrayed and stabbed in the back by her closest friend. It's dark, it's brutal, and it definitely does set the tone perfectly. Fast forward 10 years, and that's when the actual journey begins. You now step into the shoes of Hyke, Aurora's daughter, who's traveling across the world with her friend Rico and her pet Puffy. Love the Grandia reference, by the way. Anyway, Hyke is searching for Aurora, her missing mother, and that personal thread drives the adventure. In Illusion of Gaia, Will was searching for his missing father. We just kind of have like a gender bender here. And just as Will had mysterious telekinetic and transformative powers, Hyke isn't your typical girl either. She's actually a witch, one of the few witches who remain alive after the genocide that occurred 10 years prior, where the vast majority of witches were wiped off the face of the planet. This is an action RPG for action RPG fans. You'll be exploring these large, beautifully detailed stages, fighting enemies in real time, dodging with a quick dash, smashing obstacles, and casting spells on cooldowns. Combat feels quick and fluid, but it also has like that layer of strategy, where you have to decide when to dash out of harm's way and when to risk charging up your spells for maximum power. Every battle feels like it matters, because it isn't just like padding out a leveling bar, it's pushing you forward. And let's talk about exploration, because that is where the game shines. The stages are packed with secrets, hidden passages, and one-way routes that force you to commit, and treasure chests that also hold important upgrades. There is no mini-map cluttering the screen, but if you do get lost, there is a larger map that you can check to see where you've been, where you still need to go, and what unopened chests there are still to collect. It feels like a deliberate throwback to the way that Illusion of Gaia rewarded players who were thorough. No mini-maps were there, and the stages were massive, but those still gave you like larger maps to look at too, so you definitely don't have to memorize every room here. And yeah, you'll also hear those little dialogue snippets while you're traveling, with characters commenting on the scenery or the situation, kind of like that party chatter in Atelier or Star Ocean. It makes the world feel alive. And speaking of chatter, the game is fully voiced in Japanese, though the text is in pretty much whatever language you want, from English to Spanish to Korean to Chinese to Japanese, you name it, it's pretty much there. Just as Illusion of Gaia had you traverse the entire world, the same thing happens here, as you and your friend Rico hop into your Jeep and head off on a road trip around the planet searching for your missing mother. I love when games take place in the real world. And just like any good road trip, you've got to stop and camp along the way. Between the stages, you're not just like hitting a save point and moving on. You're setting up camp, relaxing with your party, cooking meals, decorating your campsite, even flipping through photographs or changing the radio station. And these aren't just cosmetic touches, because cooking will give you buffs, like reduced damage or faster movement that carry on into your next stage. It's a clever way to make downtime meaningful, and it reminded me of Illusion of Gaia's Dark Spaces, but expanded into something more interactive and personal. I found myself actually looking forward to the camp breaks, and not just rushing through them. Progression in Hyke also echoes Illusion of Gaia in the best ways. Remember how back in Illusion of Gaia, you just got like little upgrade orbs as you fought and progressed throughout the stages? There wasn't any sort of way to grind out for more levels or more stats. You were just kind of like stuck with whatever the game gave you. Well, that is not the case here. While experience points don't exist and you don't level up in a traditional way, the same upgrade progress still kind of occurs. As you fight your way through the stages, you'll collect gems and mana to upgrade your stats back at camp. You can boost your HP, attack, or magic, unlock and upgrade new spells, or even set new spells to use in the different stages. These upgrade gems come from treasure chests, side quests, or enemy drops, which makes exploration and thoroughness the name of the game. And you know me, my favorite part of any RPG is exploration. It's essentially like the same philosophy as Gaia's stat boosts, just fleshed out into a more proactive skill tree type system that definitely works in 2025. Then, if you want to, you can hop on into your Jeep and drive off to town to buy more supplies, camping gear, recipes, and even handle side quests for the townsfolk, which does keep everything feeling connected to the journey rather than just like grinding for its own sake. And just as you had the option to fight with Will, Frieden, or Shadow in Gaia, here you get a bevy of witches to join your party. But you don't have to go into a dark space and transform into them and then kind of like get stuck in their form, as you can switch between your witches whenever you want to. And each of them have completely different magical spells, strengths, and weaknesses, as well as fighting styles. Hyke is your main character, and she's a jack of all trades with pretty decent attack power, average stats, and the ability to heal, shoot off energy beams, and even create some sort of like damaging magical barrier around her. Riko, though, is much more fragile. She is the definition of a high-risk, high-reward character. In her normal form, she can heal herself with her basic attacks and summon a doppelganger dealing even more damage, but she has low HP and she isn't all that strong. However, she can transform into like this massive bunny who just hits like a truck with powerful spells that scale based upon how much HP you've sacrificed. And Fallout is kind of like a druid or nature mage who can tie your enemies up in vines, summon a wolf to eviscerate them, or even a bear to like shred them to smithereens. And the fact that you can switch between your witches at any times means that you're constantly thinking about who's the best girl to tackle the stages, as they all fit together synergistically to cover each other's weaknesses. Presentation-wise, the game is gorgeous. The pixel art is vibrant and detailed, with lush forests, ruined cities, underwater ruins, and eerie forbidden zones that drip with atmosphere. The Japanese voice acting adds in a layer of authenticity, while the text is translated into multiple languages, so you can all dive right on in. There's even a full opening song that sets the mood right away, and the cutscenes are beautifully done. They're cinematic in a way that feels like a modern interpretation of the normal SNES style. So let's go ahead and circle on back to that big question. Is Hyke Northern Lights really a spiritual successor to Illusion of Gaia? For me, absolutely. The themes line up. It's a modern world scarred by mystical forces, a protagonist searching for her family, progression built on exploration instead of grinding, and that constant rhythm of combat, reflection, and story revelations. The camping system is basically like your Dark Spaces but evolved, and the Jeep travel feels like Will's journey across the Earth, but just updated for today. Even the way that you unlock your stats and powers through treasure and reagents echoes Gaia's ore-based growth. It's not like a one-to-one copy, but it's clearly inspired by the same DNA. Everything that I've seen suggests that this is one of those rare cases where nostalgia is honored, but not exploited. Hyke doesn't just want to like remind you of Gaia, it wants to show you what that kind of game can look like today. Hyke Northern Lights launches on Thursday, September the 18th on PC, Switch, and PS5. And if you've ever wished that Quintex Classics would make a comeback, this here is probably the closest that we're going to get, so don't sleep on it. Check out the download links in the description and give it a try for yourself and tell me what you think. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to level on up and join my party by subscribing. I'll be covering more hidden gems, classic RPGs, and modern successors just like this one. And in the meantime, let me know down in the comments, what's your favorite memory from Illusion of Gaia, and do you think that Hyke Northern Lights lives up to that legacy? Talk to me about it, and have a good day.